Welcome to this unique world of dance of India, and here you see so many forms, so many stars, so many styles, so many actors. Speaking of actors, maybe today we should talk about cinema and Kathak in films. Kathak has been easily and freely assimilated in mainstream cinema. This has been possible due to the language outreach, the simplicity of Hindu, Urdu, Hindustani, Awadhi, Bhojpuri, Punjabi, and also due to cultural closeness of the subject. Kathak for storytelling in temples, and thus the same device has been easily adapted in Hindi films. The stories of Nautch dancers or tawaifs or courtesans or classical dancers have all added to body of film works. The first full-length feature film made in India, Raja Harishchandra, used North Indian dances minimally, and Kathak, being from North and Central India, had easy access and viewership. This 1913 Indian silent film was directed and produced by Indian film icon Dada Saheb Phalke. The film had an all-male cast as no woman was available for playing film leads. Phalke Saheb struggled to get women, including Nautch girls, to agree to act in the film. He hence had to cast a delicate-looking man, Anna Salunke, to play the role of Queen Taramati. Harishchandra's wife, Phalke discovered Salunke, who used to work in a restaurant as a cook, for this role. Salunke would later play the role of both Rama and Sita in Dada Saheb Phalke's 1917 film Lanka Dahan and become the most popular actor of this time. The plethora of mythological films introduced a different slant to the use of music and dance in Hindi cinema. As the formula for romantic and soulful rendition of song and a simplistic dance number by the heroine could not apply to the gods and goddesses of mythology, such films required greater emphasis on dance. Most heroes or heroines could not dance, and the notion of choreography did not exist. Consequently, studios contracted trained classical dancers from different parts of the country. Interestingly, the initial dances in films were by the best dancers in the country who conceptualized and choreographed for them. Directors gave the dancers basic instructions and guidelines, and song and dance numbers with elaborate sets and costumes were picturized to add to the fantasy of Devlok or Indralok. Trained classical dancers such as Sitara Devi and later Gopi Krishna and Western style dancers Azuri kicked off the popularity of the classical dance form in Hindi films. These dancers were so popular that the film posters highlighted dancers by Sitara Devi. Dance masters such as Professor More often composed these elaborate stage dances. As dancing became more popular, the need for dance masters and later choreographers was felt. Azuri, one of the popular dancers of the early days, trained two boys, Surya Kumar and Krishna Kumar, who in turn started training actors to dance to their own tunes. Choreographers such as P.L. Raj, Satyanarayanan, Badri Prasad, and a host of others came in then. The era of dance started in Hindi films with the entry of dancing actresses from South like Padmini, Ragini, and Vajayantimala. Later, it was followed by Hema Malini, Rekha, Sridevi. In any film featuring these actresses, there would definitely be dance. 1940s, Uday Shankar's seminal film Kalpana, the first fully choreographed film released in 1948, also had portions on Kathak. The story of this film was based on dance. This reached out to many as the film had a national release. S.S. Vasan's Chandralekha had choreography by Tarun Chopra, a disciple of Uday Shankar. Ram Gopal too used Kathak sequences in his films, making it internationally popular. Zora Sehgal is special because she showcased the Uday Shankar dance style in film 2 years before Kalpana was released. The film was Neecha Nagar 1946, and her contribution was two beautiful dances, a twin and trio dance with graceful side sways, undulations, arm positions and hand gestures that look directly inspired by the Uday Shankar style as evidenced from extant footage of Kalpana. Her daughter Kiran Sehgal's book Fatty sheds some light on the influence Zora had on dance through her training was everyone associated with Prithvi theatres. Kiran notes that students Suresh Bhatt and Satyanarayan later went on to give dance direction in films, and she also lists Badnaam, directed by D.D. Keshav, as one of Zora's film choreographies. Kiran notes that the female dancers identified in the credits of Neecha Nagar, Ruma Ganguly and Gopal Lal were students of Zora at Prithvi theatres. Kathak soon gained currency in mainstream Hindi cinema of Bombay, and many dancers were trained in Kathak like Sadhana Bose, Devika Rani, Vaidya Rahman, Meena Kumari, Sandhya Shantaram, among others. Sadhana Bose was a contemporary of Uday Shankar. A classically trained dancer, Kathak danced under Taraknath Bagchi and Manipuri under Guru Senarik Rajkumar. Sadhana was an actress but dancer in the first place, and all her film successes were in dancing roles. She even sang her own songs in some of her films, including her first Ali Baba. Singing was not new to her because her sister was the famous Naina Devi. An English version of her best known film, Raj Nartaki 1947, was distributed in the USA as court dancer. 1950s, most of the Kathak found in Indian film trends towards the courtesan, mujra style of Kathak with a focus on abhinaya or expressive interpretation, lyrical poetry and a slower pace to show off the dancer's feminine charms. In cases where the pace quickens to feature footworks and spins, the dances still aren't up to par, and the dancers' lack of lengthy Kathak training usually shows, or in the case of Janak Janak Payal Baje, the dancer Gopi Krishna is clearly trained but spices up the dance for film so much that it strays from classical Kathak. Film Kathak often features close-up shots of the dancer's footwork, but it's always a shadow of the real thing. There are few film dances, however, that are gleaming exceptions to the rule in their presentation of rhythmic, technical Kathak, and the star of this style is undoubtedly Kumari Roshan dance style, certainly a product of her training in the Jaipur Gharana of Kathak. In the 1959 Bengali film Jalsaghar, directed by the great Satyajit Ray, Roshan Kumari performed a trivet, a fast-paced dance item popular in Jaipur style but rarely performed today. In the historical film Mirza Ghalib, 1954, set in the time of the magnificence of the courts of the last Mughal, the story follows the romance of Indian poet Mirza Ghalib and a dancer. Roshan Kumari is said to have danced in a few Bengali and Hindi films also, one of which is Basant Bahar in 1957. In Parinita, Hindi 1953, we have a double whammy with Roshan Kumari and Gopi Krishna as performers. Gopi Krishna wows with his effortless turbo spins, and Roshan has delightful form in the way she holds herself. V. Shantaram made films based on dance characters, as his own partner Sandhya, whom he married later, was an accomplished folk dancer, knowing many classical forms. Thus, many of his films, from Jhanak Jhanak Payal Baje in 1955 to Jal Bin Machli 1971, use Kathak heavily. The latter film has a plot which allows almost everyone to declare their willingness to sacrifice themselves for love, or for dance, or for the love of dance. Though earlier, Sandhya had almost to give up dancing because of backache, she staged a comeback as a dancer in this picture with a vengeance. Her snake dance, beautifully shot outdoors, is a visual delight. One must remember where dance came in films. Each film had minimum of 6 to 8 songs. RPM and LP vinyl records had two sides and each side had 3 to 4 songs. Thus each film had 6 to 8 songs and most songs had to be danced or enacted to a storyline. Thus films gave allowance for such depiction through song and dance, thus also earning a sobriquet where international cinema community and audiences that Indian films were all about song and dance story or sequence, which could also be demonstrated by dance. As Kathak was the only North Indian form, it became very popular and thus won instant audiences. Folk forms were also very easily involved and thus dance permeated all aspects of filmmaking. In the 60s, many actresses came from South and brought Bharatanatyam with them, and this also helped pan-Indian audiences see this form. By then, Bombay film industry had benefited of great gurus like Lachu Maharaj, Kundanlal Gangani, Mohan Rao Kalyanpurkar, who composed dance sequences using Kathak. Pandit Lachu Maharaj of the Lucknow Gharana made significant contribution to Hindi film choreography. The first main film using story of a dancer, a courtesan, Anarkali, was Mughal-e-Azam, 1960, in which the great K. Asif used Madhubala, who danced mostly Kathak, composed by Lachu Maharaj and Shambhu Maharaj. Mughal-e-Azam enchanted audiences with its majestic sets, elaborate dance sequences and soulful music. The dance sequences featuring Madhubala and hundreds of junior artists took the audience breath away. Anarkali was a Nautch dancer with whom young Prince Salim, played by young Dilip Kumar alias Yusuf Khan, falls in love, much to the dislike of his father, the king, played by theatre doyen Prithviraj Kapoor. Pakiza was another film choreographed by Pandit Lachu Maharaj with elaborate Kathak dance sequences. The film tells the story of a Lucknow Tawaif played by actress Meena Kumari. All the Kathak dance sequences were performed by an ailing Meena Kumari herself, except for the last dance sequence wherein a body double, Padma Khanna, was used in the long shots. Meena Kumari died weeks after the film was released. The cameraman and director K. Asif Khan later married well-known Kathak dancer Sitara Devi. From when she was just 12, Sitara Devi performed dance sequences in Hindi movies like debut in Usha Haran 1940, Nagina 1951, Roti, Vatan 1954, Anjali 1957 and Mother India 1957. She performed a holy dance dressed as a boy. After that, she stopped performing dance in movies to concentrate on Kathak. She taught Kathak to many Bollywood celebrities like Madhubala, Rekha, Mala Sinha and Kajol. Sohan Lal also introduced Kathak in Hindi films. He was also one of the first teachers of today's superstar choreographer Saroj Khan. His brother Hira Lal also took up the profession of choreography and was established dance director himself. Sohan Lal's hit films include Jewel Thief, Chaudhary Ka Chand, Sahab Bibi Gulam and Satyam Shivam Sundaram. In the 1960s and 70s, Gopi Krishna, a nephew of Sitara Devi, rose to establish Kathak in a big way in films. Thus, he added it to Kathak profile and outreach. Although he came and himself performed in the festive songs like on Holi or Village Fair, he soon became a popular choreographer and did many films. One of his dancing partners was Padma Khanna, and she too became established as Kathak dancer in films, in addition to doing character or cameo roles. Gopi Krishna was born into a family of Kathak dancers. His maternal grandfather, Pandit Sukhdev Maharaj, was a teacher of Kathak, and his aunt Sitara Devi was a Kathak dancer who had performed around the world. In 1952, 17-year-old Gopi Krishna became one of the youngest choreographers in Hindi film industry when he was hired to choreograph dances for Madhubala in Saki. In 1955, he appeared as dancer-actor in his first film, Jhanak Jhanak Payal Baje. In the film, he played Girdhar, a talented young dancer whose love for his partner jeopardizes his dancing career. Jhanak Jhanak Payal Baje is filled with Gopi Krishna's dances, such as his infamous introductory pirouette pillar dance and his energetic Tandava with Sandhya. The film was successful and helped to revitalize public interest in classical dance. It is known that he danced with Roshan Kumari before that in Parinita 1953, and he also danced in Andhiya in 1952, in which he choreographed for himself. Gopi Krishna choreographed for many films like Grasti in 1963, Dastan, Mehbooba, Umrao Jan, Nach Mayuri, and Perfect Murder. You'll notice in Gopi's dance duets that he is usually paired with a female dancer who can keep up with him and possesses a similar inborn joy to her dance. Helen, look-alike Madhumati, Pajanti Mala, Kamala, Priyadarshini, Helen herself, and Roshan Kumari. Only one dancer of his exists with Kamala in 1959's Nautch Ghar. Gopi Krishna was a prolific choreographer in Indian cinema. He composed the Sai Subbalakshmi Kathak duet in Bharosa, 1963. His compositions featured ecstatic movements, sharp transitions, ample spins, and an almost superhuman pace with movements inspired by classical dances, particularly Kathak. While Gopi is listed as one of the choreographers for Umrao Jan 1981, he only composed for one dance because the producers were dissatisfied with Gopi's work after he composed the first number and wanted something more authentic, and soon hired the talented Kathak dancer Kumudini Lakhia. All through this phase, 50s to 60s, although there was Kathak and other forms, cabaret too was popular, and no film was complete without one number by Helen or Sasikala or Bindu. In fact, Helen made dances very popular without ever looking cheap. This woman singly won new audiences for dance, cabaret or Indian forms. She even competed with Vajayanti Mala, a star from South trained in Bharatanatyam, in a duet in the film Prince 1969, where Helen did jazz, flamenco and an Arabian Nights routine, and Vajayanti Mala did Bharatanatyam, Kathak and Kathakali, along with apt changes in costume for the long Mukabla Humse Na Karo song. Vajayanti Mala's dances in Amrapali and Vaidya Rahman's In Guide were famous. In the 70s, Jitendra, father of Ekta and Tushar Kapoor, was called Jumping Jack due to his dancing, and even before him, non-dancing stars like Devanand, Dilip Kumar, Raj Kumar danced few steps that looked like Kathak. Other classical forms were too difficult or alien for them to even try to do, though most undertook folk forms easily. In 1990s, Madhuri Dixit tried to use her basic knowledge of Kathak in films like Tezab and desired to learn from masters like Pandit Birju Maharaj. He has directed, composed music and sung for two classical dance sequences in the film Shatranj Ke Khiladi, The Chess Players, directed by Satyajit Ray. One was a group dance picturized on Wajid Ali Shah, Amjad Khan, shown dancing along with his queens. Birju Maharaj's ace disciple, Saraswati Sen, did all the court dances. The other was a solo dance forming the backdrop of a crucial sequence of the story. He directed and composed a music piece for the film Dil To Pagal Hai as a Jugalbandi. Madhuri Dixit performed the dance on this piece in the Kathak style with a contemporary touch. In the film Gadar, he choreographed a group dance based on the song Aan Milo Sajna, forming a backdrop to show Amisha Patel's turmoil. He choreographed, composed music and was the male lead singer for the song Kahe Chhed Mohe in the film Devdas. This dance represents a true portrayal of Bhav as performed by Madhuri Dixit in the classical style. His disciples have performed as the accompanying artists for these dance sequences along with film personalities. P.L. Raj, Bhagwan, Saroj Khan have added to body of this work. In 2000, films and audiences' tastes have changed by filmmakers who have given them gymnastics by way of dance sequences, largely because actresses are not trained in any one form properly and cannot be bothered to learn either. Thus, new breed of starlets can only move like athletes and gymnasts, and so choreographers too have devised easy movements. Since 2000, this has been a trend, though a few exceptions abound, like Birju Maharaj choreographing for Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Devdas, featuring Aishwarya Rai and Madhuri Dixit, Luna Pan, Smita Mukherjee, Pallavi De, and Swati Ghoshal, all students of Birju Maharaj, have performed in the song Kahe Chhed Chhed Mohe, composed by Birju Maharaj in Devdas. He is a winner of the National Award for Best Choreography in 2013 for choreographing the song Unnai Kannadu Naan, which features Kamala Hassan performing Kathak in his multilingual film Vishwarupam. Kumudini Lakhya is one of the very first women dancers to choreograph not only for the stage but also for films like Umrao Jaan in 1981 and then Janisar in 2015. Based on famous Lucknow courtesan, Umrao Jaan starred Bollywood actress Rekha in the main role. Director Muzaffar Ali hired the best choreographer Gopi Krishna and Kumudini Lakhya, and watching the film one would be surprised to know that Rekha had no formal training in Kathak dance, which was the backbone of the movie based in that era. The courtesan was a well-trained Kathak dancer, hence Rekha went through training to master her dance sequences. In an interview, Rekha confided, "In fact, to be authentic in my dance movements, besides Gopi Krishna ji and Kumudini Lakhya ji, Muzaffar Ali had also invited many Nawabs of the bygone era who were acquainted to the Mujras. These Nawabs were exclusively called so closely monitor my Kathak steps, and many a time they guided me and came up with valuable suggestions, thus making my dance stand out." Thus, Kathak gurus have not shied from composing for mainstream cinema without sacrificing content for entertainment. In this new century, although Kathak is sort of marginalized in films, as are all classical forms, because old themes have given way to new, still focused directors like Muzaffar Ali make period films like Umrao Jaan and Janisar. In his latest film Janisar 2015, for one of the songs, lyrics are taken from poetry of Wajid Ali Shah and Rahi Masoom Raza. The heroine of this period film is a courtesan played by Pernia Qureshi, a trained Kathak dancer. Among TV documentaries made exclusively on Kathak, mention can be made of Sukhdev's 1971 documentary featuring Roshan Kumari, Damayanti Joshi, Sudarshan Dheer and Birju Maharaj. Doordarshan has done some documentation but nothing focused. Sangeet Natak Academy documents only those it awards. That way, many have been left out. In recent decades, the highest TRP ratings on dance series on national TV was Tal Mel, made by Shamishta Pranab Mukherjee and curated by Ashish Mohan Khokar for Doordarshan. Kathak as a genre has captured national imagination because of Hindi films in large way. Thus, like in the 1940s, Bharatanatyam came to southern films. Many actresses were trained in classical dance, making it easy for them to absorb and learn quickly. And prime examples are Vajayanti Mala, Hema Malini and Rekha, after the first generation of the greats mentioned in the opening paragraphs. These leading ladies were adept in horse riding, swimming, tennis and classical dance. Talk of multitasking. Kathak has now become nationally known and accepted, and in no small measure is the contribution of films and filmmakers, choreographers and composers.